Today's video lesson is the creation of Object 2 from Plate 5.32, and first thing we have to do is make sure that we understand the total length of the object, what its dimensions are in terms of length, and then how deep it is. So I can count out the halves here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 halves. So 7 halves is equivalent to 3.5 inches. And the depth here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 1 3/4 inches deep. So what I do is I go back to SketchUp. I'm going to delete this person here, pick up my rectangle tool, and I'm going to describe a rectangle here that's 3.5 by 1.75. See, this rectangle is pretty small. Now I'm going to flip back to my drawing here, and I take a look at this here. This is really composed of two parts. We have like a base pad here and then a tower. So I'm going to go ahead and define the base pad here first. So going back to that there, it's a 1/2 inch thick. So I'm just going to take my push-pull tool here, and I'm going to go up a 1/2 inch. Alright, now looking back here, the tower part of this here, I need to figure out how big this tower is. And I notice over here on this side there are 1, 2, 3/4 marks right here, and so what that's saying is the tower begins 3/4 inch from each end. So I'm going to take my tape measure tool, go over 0.75, do the same on this side, and I'm going to create a rectangle at this point. And I'm going to flip back to my drawing, and I'm going to see how tall the tower is. I can see it's 1 inch tall. So I flip back there, take my push-pull tool, and I'm going to go up 1 inch. Alright, so there's the major portion of the object in question, object number 2. And now what I'm going to do is take care of the little tower pieces there. And if you look here back on the original drawing, you can see these little square towers. So what I'm going to do is, and they're 1/2 inch square, so what I'm going to do is take my tape measure, and I'm just going to measure over a 1/2 inch from each face of the tower. Alright, so that gives me an indication of where those tower corners are. And so now what I'm doing is I'm taking a look at the total depth. Let's see, this total depth here is a 1/2 inch, and I'm talking about this left to right channel here. So I'll go back to SketchUp. I'm going to draw a rectangle at this point here. I'm going to push-pull this downward a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to look back on my drawing. I see I've got a little cutout here and here on the front and the back. They're 1/4 inch deep. So I go back to my model. I'm going to draw a rectangle in this position here, in this position here, and I'm going to push-pull those down a 1/4 inch. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to take the erase tool. I'm just going to erase those guidelines there. I won't need them any longer, and now I'm going to focus on the hole in the front. So there's that hole that's drilled through the object, and I can see it's centered. And I also see that it's a 1/4 inch from the bottom of the bottom edge of the circle is a 1/4 inch from the bottom of the object. So back to SketchUp. I'm going to take a guideline tool here, the tape measure tool, and I'm going to put it right on the center point right here, midpoint snap. And then I'm going to take another line, and I'm going to go up a 1/2 inch because that's where the hole center is. I said the edge of the hole was a 1/4 inch from the bottom, and so the hole center is going to be a 1/2 inch up. So now I just flip this over to circle, go ahead and draw a 1/2 inch diameter circle. Of course it's asking for the radius, so I want to type in half that, which would be 0.25. Once I get that set up, then I can go ahead and push-pull this backwards to go ahead and drill a hole through this object. So there's that. And then a couple more things to do, and then I'll be finished. One thing I need to do is turn on back edges. And then I also want to get hidden geometry. And then at this point you just need to save your file, then export it out as a JPEG, and then upload it to Canvas. Good luck with your model. Talk to you soon.